Okay, now we're going to go into talk about sheets and sheet views or sheet layers. But first of all, I've realized we need to set up the wall heights, and then I'll go through how you set up a viewport and then take sections of it. But first we'll set up the wall heights. So what I mean by that is, if we go back to the model, I've sort of updated it since the last one, but yeah. So if I go to an elevation or something by pressing 2, you can sort of see here that the walls don't have any thickness, they're just like flat. So if I go to view and then go rendering OpenGL, yeah, there's no walls, or there's some doors or something there, but like there's no walls. That's because I didn't set up the wall style properly before I drew the walls. So what you can do, if I hold down Control and then press middle click, I can sort of orbit around a little bit, although it's flat, but yeah. So you can sort of see there's no wall thicknesses. So what you can do is you can go to your resource browser for the file that you're working on. Make sure it's under your Open Files one. So it'll have all your symbols for all your doors and windows that you've put in, that you've made from the last tutorials I did. And it'll also have your wall styles. So what you can do is you can right click on this guy and go edit, and then it'll come up with that wall style options, and so you can still add more components and thickness and stuff to it. But what we want to do is go to the second tab here, the insertion options, and this sort of has the height for the wall. And what it says is you can type in a value there, I think, like a millimeter value, or you can say leave it on determined by bounds, and you can put it so that it'll be on these guys. So these are the story sort of levels that we set up right at the beginning. So if I cancel out of this, go back to that organization pane and go to, what is it, stories here, and you can sort of see the roof, floor, foundation. But if I go edit, it's got a name, roof -1, floor -1, foundation -1, but the level type is really important for the walls. So the roof is roof, but the floor is finished floor, and the foundation I've got on foundation. So if I cancel out of that again, go back to that wall style and edit it, and go back to the insertion options. So this is an internal interior wall, so we want the top to be the roof and the bottom to be that finished floor, right? Cool, so that's all set up, and then if I go OK, it'll ask me to replace, and you've got to make sure that these guys here are checked, because it's going to replace the height with the new height that we just set. So if I go OK, then it should update in the model. So everything, all the walls that are using that style will update, which is quite cool. And I can do that for the exterior ones as well. Make sure it's, was this the top is the roof again, the bottom's the foundation. OK, and then replace. Cool. And the same for the foundation as well. If I do the 5-inch one first. So this will be the foundation, it'll be the finished floor, I guess, the top. And the bottom will be the foundation. Cool. So hopefully that all worked. Wait, I may have set the wall to be too low. Let's go back and have a look at that. Edit. Oh yeah, the bottom bound should be the finished floor. Whoops. So it's quite cool, because you can sort of draw anything in that plan view and then set up how high it should be later on. Cool. Here we go. and then if I go view layer options and then put it on show all of them, I've sort of modified the roof a bit as well, put a texture on it, but you'll be able to figure out how to do that. And then I think that was all the 5-inch foundations that I drew, so that should be all set. Cool. So now what we want to do is go through the viewports. So when we do a sheet is basically a drawing that you're going to output. So that would be the plan, that plan of the state house that we have. Yeah, this plan here. So this here is sort of drawn to scale. See, it sort of has a scale down here, and it's all on one piece of paper, like a real world piece of paper. So that's what a sheet is going to allow us to do. And if we set up a sheet layer in Vectorworks, then we can put all these different drawings all on the same sheet, with dimensions and whatever as well on them. So how we do that is first of all, I'll just put a plan on. So I'll go 0 for the plan, and I'll put it back on. If I go to standard view, layer options, and then grey, snap others. So I'll put something like this plan on. So how we can do that is, the easiest way I think is that you go view and then go create viewport, and then what we want to call this is probably plan 1, and then drawing title, we'll call this plan. And then what we can do is we'll go new, when it says create on layer, we'll go new sheet layer, and then we can call this something as well. So we'll call this sheet. You probably want to we'll set up all the names and all the numbers and things properly, but so it might be A1. So what I'll do is I'll just, for this tutorial, for the example, probably what we'll do is just do one. We'll just copy this. So we'll lay out all the same sort of stuff, all in the same sort of scale, or on an A3 sheet, but done in Vectorworks. So I'll just call it A1, and then I'll call it sheet. Title will be what have they called it here? Title section. Let's call it State House 1456, and you guys can set up a title block later on, but we'll go OK, and then I think we'll leave it at that and see what that looks like. It might be a bit big to put everything on, so but we can change that later on. So I'll go OK. Sweet, and then so it's automatically taken us to the sheet. So you can see we've got this border around here. And I think what you can do is you can set up, the page setup should be the same. Yep. No. So there we go, and then we'll make sure it's on A3 still. Yep, A3 landscape. And then choose one printer page, and then go 1, 1, and then we'll show page breaks. Okay. Cool. So that plan's going to take up the whole page pretty much, but really we want it to just be sort of this big, maybe. So what you can do is click on that viewport, because we're on the sheet now. So like, let's put it up here. So this is the sheet, and these are the design layers here. So cool. And then this is a viewport sort of object here. So we can click on this, and all the options should come up in the object info, and then we can just adjust the scale. So maybe it's 1 to 100. Cool. Sweet. And so you sort of get the idea. If I go back to design layer, or maybe it's floor, and then go to what do we want? We sort of want an elevation up here. And what is that? Is it 2? Yeah. So something like that. We want it to look a bit nicer, but we'll figure that out later on. And then you can just go View, create Viewport again. But we'll call this one Elevation 1. And the drawing title we'll call it Elevation South, or whatever it's going to be. And then make sure it's going to put it on that same sheet layer. And cool. So we can sort of change the options of rendering it here. I'll put it at 1 to 100, and I'll see what that looks like. Cool. So that might sort of fit. Might be a bit big actually, but with it selected, you can then come over to the viewport options, and then there should be a that's not the right scale. Then we got 200, but we can adjust the background render, I think. Maybe we want a hidden line. And then see how it's got this border now? That just means you need to click update. That's interesting. And maybe we can change the layers. There we go. And we'll put all the layers on. Cool. And then we go update again. Sweet. So there's a weird hidden line view of it. But what about if we want OpenGL render? Cool. So you can get these sort of funny elevations starting to happen. Whoa, my wall's sort of kicking out there. That's a bit weird. That's alright. It's probably the roof. Might not be right. So what's quite cool on these viewports is if you see anything wrong with them, you can sort of like click on it and then double click, and then it should bring this up. And so what it's saying here is that you can edit the viewport and you can edit annotations for it. And the annotations are all the dimensions and things like that. Or you can edit the crop that it's doing. See how it's sort of cropping right on the window and right on the foundation? You can sort of maybe just crop into the window. And for the design layer, you can also edit that. So that's what I want to do. I want to sort of adjust that roof. So I'll go OK. And that sort of goes into the view. If I pan over, I think I want to make the eaves a bit bigger on this side. Is probably what it is. Yeah, eave. We'll put that at 300 or something. Cool. That looks about right. Is that what this one's done? This one here. Yeah, 300. Cool. And then I can go return to viewport. And then I have to click update again. Cool, and it's updated it. So now it looks a little bit better. So you might want it OpenGL, or you might want it hidden line or something, but OpenGL sort of looks alright. You get a better sense of what's going on. But you might want shadows or something as well, maybe. Cool, so you can sort of just go back to the design layers and then get that view that you want, and then go create viewport. Under view, create viewport, and make sure you're sort of naming the drawing titles, because when I'll just do this one again, elevation 2, and this will be elevation southeast maybe, or west. Cool, and OpenGL, and we want it 1 to 100, and we want all these layers visible, and orthogonal, yeah. Cool. Sure. Oh, it didn't update it to OpenGL. Let's see, it's sort of updated there, but if I go update, it's going to work. Yep. Cool. Cool. So you can just sort of continue on and add all those views. Oh, that's actually that one there. Okay, whatever. And then the next thing you need to do is sort of figure out how you add these dimensions. So, was it 2.5? Oh, 2 feet 2 inches. So that's this one over here, right? So I'll put that down there. And then to add dimensions for that drawing, what we want to do is actually double click on it and go edit annotations. And then, yep, we'll level that. And then now we can go into the dimensions tools down here and then go constrain dimension, pick it from that point, and then move up to that point, and then bring it out to about there, right? And then another one from there to there, and bring it out to the same length as that. Cool. So we've done those dimensions now, so we can just go exit, and then they update on the sheet like that. How easy was that? Cool, done. Yeah. And so now when you go back to that that view, well, these annotations will only be on this sheet, right, or on this viewport. Cool. So when you go back to the design layer, they won't be there. Cool. And so if you go back to the sheet layer, you can sort of see it sort of whenever you go outside of the sheet and you come back, the viewports ask, or they sort of let you know that they're not updated. This is because, like, if you have like a final quality render or something in one of them, then it's not going to automatically sort of re-render it every time, which is, I guess, a good thing. But yeah, they're always sort of not updating; they're sort of static, which is interesting. So I just noticed if we go back to this one here that we have the dimensions in, I'll double click on it, and we go back into the annotations of it. When that loads up, here we go, annotations. I go okay. If we select one of the dimensions, it comes up with these options over here. So one of them is where is it? Yeah, dimension standard. So you can put it down, and one of them is quite cool. It says, I'm not sure what that means, but dual side by side. And it's quite cool because it sort of has the dimensions of, in feet as well. So if I put it on stacked, maybe it'll be a bit smaller. So it's not actually the right height. It's weird. If I go to this one and go dual stacked as well, it should be 2 feet 2 inches. Cool. So it's just this one here is off. I'll probably put this somewhere random. Huh, that's interesting. There we go. Cool. So you can sort of have the feet as well, which might be kind of interesting to have in the drawings as well. So you have the dimension, the millimeters, and then the feet. Just so I can reference it off that plan. Cool. And so how do we do a section? Let's go exit this one. You guys probably know how to do a section already, but we'll go into the design layer, go floor, and we'll go into the plan view by pressing 0 and zoom out a wee bit. And what's the section they've got? They've sort of got it crossing through this way here, going through this way. So to create a section, you just go view and then create section viewport. And I think what we'll do is we'll sort of put it through here, because it's going through sort of the most doors and walls and things. So you just click once and then hover down and then click again. So you're sort of passing through the whole building, and then now you can sort of pick which way you're going to be looking at it. So I think what we'll do is we'll go this way or this way? This way. Yeah, sure, we'll just go that way. Cool. I think, yep. And you click again, and then now we can sort of say where we want to put it. So yeah, we want to put it on that sheet, but we want to call it section. And do we want it at 1 to 100 probably? And hidden line, yeah, maybe we'll try that. And yeah, and then we'll just go OK. And it'll create that section for us and hopefully take us to the sheet. Yep, here we go, sweet. So probably want to drag it down here. And then, cool. And so it's called it section because that's what we called it, and it's given it a scale. I thought these ones would have done that as well, but they usually do. But I guess it's just the sections that come up with the drawing titles. Cool. And then we can see that we have a sort of sense of a detail, but it's probably not quite accurate. We need some gutters and things on here, and we need a ceiling and some beams and things like that. Those trusses that were set up, these guys here, and a chimney and all that sort of stuff. But that's sort of getting there. That's the gist of it. Cool. So I think next we'll talk about how you do details.